Well, I just released some data to the Centers for Disease Control, to the Food and Drug Administration, to the National Institute of Health, and to the World Health Organization through my U.S. Senator Jane Shaheen in New Hampshire. And I looked at vaccines. And I looked at vaccines that use proteins. Proteins like egg protein to grow the vaccines, or gelatin as used in agar to grow the vaccines. Also, gelatin is added as an excipient to vaccines to keep the vaccine in suspension. It's a stabilizer for the vaccine. They put gelatins into vaccines. So I got thinking about that, knowing that what I found in the laboratory with pig bones and skin, and with cow bones, and also from Monsanto's data of the tissues, that my chance of finding glyphosate in vaccines were pretty high, seeing that most of the glyphosate was bioaccumulated in the bone, and that's where we get gelatin from. So I analyzed popular vaccines. I analyzed vaccines from Merck, from Sanofi Pasteur, from GlaxoSmithKline, from Novartis, from Wyeth. I analyzed the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, the diphtheria and tetanus and pertussis vaccine, the hepatitis vaccine, pneumococcus, the influenza vaccine. I also analyzed the shingles vaccine and the chickenpox vaccine. I analyzed multiple vaccines from multiple manufacturers, and I even included multiple laboratories looking at the same vaccines, so that that I wasn't just looking at a single dose. So I developed a lot of data from multiple vaccines, multiple runs from multiple manufacturers, all vaccines involving gelatin and egg proteins. And what did I find? Well, I found that Merck's Zostavax vaccine, which is a shingles vaccine, is contaminated with glyphosate. I found that the Merck MMR2, the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, was contaminated with glyphosate, 2.9 parts per billion. Multiply that times the trillion molecules number, and it's really significant how many trillions of molecules are in a dose of that vaccine. I also analyzed the Merck ProQuad measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, which has the varicella vaccine as well. The ProQuad also was contaminated with glyphosate. I analyzed the GlaxoSmithKline Energex B hepatitis vaccine. That vaccine was contaminated with Monsanto's glyphosate. I analyzed another Merck MMR2 vaccine and found 3.7 parts per billion glyphosate contamination in another run. I also reanalyzed the MMR-V vaccine from Merck. That was contaminated. The Varavax, varicella chickenpox vaccine from Merck, that was contaminated with glyphosate. The Zostavax, the shingles vaccine, you see the commercial on television, get this one done. The shingles vaccine, it's contaminated with glyphosate. I analyzed the Adacel diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis shot vaccine given to children, the Sanofi Pasteur version of the DTaP, that's contaminated with glyphosate. I analyzed GlaxoSmithKline's hepatitis B recombinant vaccine. That's contaminated with glyphosate. I analyzed the flu vaccine, influenza, Fluzone Quad from Sanofi Pasteur, that's grown in chicken eggs. It's contaminated with glyphosate. What else? Another MMR vaccine, 2.963 parts per billion glyphosate. Most of the vaccines I analyzed are contaminated with glyphosate. Now, we're exposing the population to this. This is why I sent a letter through my senator, Jean Shaheen, here in New Hampshire, to alert her and for her to alert the Centers for Disease Control, National Institute of Health, and the Food and Drug Administration. I also alerted the United Nations World Health Organization of the Americas, their Washington office. I alerted the director. In the past week, all of these agencies have received my data and a letter that I sent to our senator. I haven't heard back yet. I'm expecting to hear their response, but we have a serious problem in the global vaccine supply.